We have too much stuff.
I know.
You guys ready? All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Any approvals, additions, deletions to the agenda? All right. Has everybody had the opportunity to look at claims? Can you get a chance to look at them?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion on claims?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes. They
Oh,
weren't
so,
up there.
yeah.
Okay. We're gonna skip over the minutes. Department reports. We'll start with clerk's office, clerk's office.
So I'm just gonna go down what we have here. We've got a couple payment arrangements this evening for you guys to look over. I'll go ahead and pass those down now. Commonwealth will talk about those disbursement forms and change orders. We have a SHI annual Adobe subscription quote. I had this subscription last year for the Adobe PDF because I redact things. Jordan asked about getting on that as well this year because there's things that he needs on there. So this is the quote for the renewal for both of those licenses. And this is their SHI is the vendor that's contracted with the states. That's our pricing. And then I have this is BMK. It's a letter Jordan had wrote up. He can go over it, but it's for the emergency approvals of getting some work done out there. So we just need the council to, as a whole, to approve it. It was done on an emergency basis. This is Haley's invoice. I'm going to be asking you guys to approve it contingent on me trying to talk them down. So basically they gave us a quote and then when they came out, they changed the brand of the keys and then they wanted to charge more. They also added on a key and a key control, which brought up the price a little bit. It's not a huge amount, but if it wasn't asked for by the town, that's the whole point of getting a quote. So I'll try to get it reduced at least based on that brand. I think it was 80 some dollars more than what they had quoted. And then Deno's invoice, this one I just didn't have all the information to put it into the correct. It's not a exorbitant amount. It was just, I wasn't sure what those keys were for, so they didn't get put into claims. Now I know, so just want to go ahead and get them paid. And a Mosquito Masters invoice, this one for the fire department, I just received. I didn't receive it in time to put it into claims. However, it is an overdue one from January. We've paid one since then. And I just also want to state on the record that Chief Vice has been informed. He's been given that purchase policy and he knows that receipts are supposed to be turned in. So I just want to go ahead and get the approval to go ahead and pay that before the next meeting, but also noting that he's continuing to be late and not sending in things. Next thing we have on here is special session date time. If enough of the council members can gather together to get that set up with Tim Clark and Ken Smith to work on getting the CCMG everything set in place for that. And then the next one's fire department requests for a subscription. I believe that was 19.
Just that $20.
Yeah, that was this email. It's at 1995, I believe, for the year. So that's a subscription base. Then Chief Vice was also looking at the rack and UPS for the networking stuff out there.
Who did send us an email?
I do have that. And also his mountain case. So this is the mountain case quote. This, I believe, is the UPS that he was wanting to get.
Yes.
And then this was, he has a volunteer out there that can do some of that stuff. So this is all of his scope of work and the materials that he would need and to do it versus Ironcloud
Yes.
and their quote.
Ironcloud's quote initially for mounting the UPS and rack and all that, but then a member of the fire department who's done IT stuff prior, is my understanding, is willing to install everything, and was able to locate the hardware stuff cheaper than Ironcloud's quote, using Opus and the town's account for Amazon.
And overall in their department, the funds are there. We'll just have to do transfers within the department to cover where he wants that taken from. That's his department, where he's at right now. And then the last one I have on there, I don't know if Jordan, if anybody got back with him today, he can let you guys know, but the Lions Club had contacted the clerk's office about their trash bash where they go and pick up trash. And I guess they coordinated in the past with Kurt about picking up those bags. But I felt like we need to coordinate obviously with the new guys and also just to get it on record that the council's approving to do that for them. Then outside the agenda items, was at conference last week. That went great. Update you guys on some of that stuff later on, and got everything caught up from being gone that week. So that's just been busy. And I know when Commonwealth talks, we'll discuss some of these other forms in here that I know some of them you guys had seen, but a couple of them were new. Since then. That's all I got.
Jordan, what you got?
All right, leave.
Okay.
Sent out a reach alert, everyone should have got it, 60 alert, by March 23rd, we'd like to have those attended. Well, I did the street, so it's in this home, last week, leaves. So we did a lot, Eli and Phil were able to go through the catch basins for first round. But I have to do that at least 1 or 2 more times or whether to make obviously. Our 2026 emergency response plan is going to be after written forward, sent out to IBM. Start sampling plan after written 5. We're going to start ultraviolet disinfection events this week. Where we change out the quartz bulbs out in the building. So we get a pre-sample into our labs before we start this inspection. Hopefully it does warm up here in the next couple of weeks and start to get that online. That needs to run from about the first part of April to November, during the warmer months. Backflow certification is complete for the town. We're just waiting on the funeral home to come out and meet with us because they're based out of Lafayette, so they want to schedule someone to come out and meet with us, but everybody else's backflow has been checked. If it's not certified, then they've been contacted to be certified. The individual that is kind of spearheading the removal of the tree from the water tower supports, he started his wheels in motion, so he's going to contact the tree removal service, starting that process. Future projects, and this is in no way a big, huge hurry. Chad Reynolds and Cricket Rider came out last week. Our wellhead protection is 2 years out of date. It's due this year in November. That is a big, long list of paperwork. I will need to see if at some point anybody's interested. It would be a local business owner, we need somebody from the town board, to get a committee together so we can have a sign-off sheet. Let's say we have that sheet to show the state that we're in the process of the wildlife protection. There's a couple other things on that list, like fire department training for the lagoon, to help out in case there is an emergency and I'm not able to contact, or and anyone's welcome to do that training. It's just going to be quick run through. This is how you shut it off, basically, and then any questions or anything like that. But those are future projects. I did reach out to the Lions Club, like Tina said. I tried to call and leave the first number. Voicemail was not set up. I called several times, and then I got another number from Tina, and I couldn't get an answer. So I went ahead and I sent out an email to them, basically repeating what Tina said. If something formal to draft up to the first business, obviously, you guys have no problem with people walking around town and always going to put that trash. This is my first really for that way. So I've reached out to them, and then the last thing I have, I'll be up the next 3 days for the NRWA conference down in Friendship. And the meeting coming up, you the whole
Well, Aaron?
Well, Preston's back. He just graduated the senior law enforcement academy last week. And he has completed his 6-month probationary period. Couple meetings ago, I gave you guys that proposal from Paul Claus about being our animal in the service. Me and Tina were talking that there's a few things we kind of wanted to clarify with them, some services and some scenarios maybe with pricing. So I'm going to have Jessica from Paul Claus attend the first meeting in April, just so we can kind of clarify a few details, and there might be a few things we might need to run by Ingrid as well, some of the scenarios with the pricing and everything. So we'll get that figured out in April. I think I had something else I'm trying to think of. We are doing street lights tomorrow night. I can't think of it. There might be one other.
Was it the grants?
Look, I am working on submitting a few grants for body armor, body cameras. I remember a couple meetings ago, you guys brought up, you guys wanted for me to get a couple ideas together, like a job description. So I have a couple from local departments. I haven't made like a final draft for Oxford specifically. I've just been looking at like what other departments have done. So if I put together a rough draft for us, do you want me to present that to you guys first, or should I give it to Ingrid and then once we get something approved, then send it to you guys? Or?
I would say give it to us.
Okay.
Let us look it over, make sure we don't think anything needs to be changed or whatever, and then we can send it over to Ingrid. That way we don't have to send it to Ingrid twice potentially.
Okay.
So.
I think that's everything I got, unless you guys have anything for me.
Nope. Fire department, all I have on them is the fire territory meetings are complete. We've had 3 out at the fire station. They've all been promoted. Wasn't a whole lot of attendance, but those are complete on the 23rd. So next Monday, we'll have a special meeting regarding approving the fire territory. The township will be here as well. So we'll hold 2 meetings in conjunction with one another to carry that through or carry that out. Aside from that, that's all I've got out there. Moving on to business guests, our Parks and Recreation Committee. Thank you guys for braving the weather.
Tina has the contract and,
Well, we have,
we have other copies too. Do you guys
yeah, we
want?
do have copies we could pass around in the actual contracts that we looked at and agreed is the way to go. So there's 5 on here we could actually pass around if each one and want to look at it. Same thing, rather than pass it.
Yeah. I've got one right here.
And in the back of it, it's got a schedule of the certificate of insurance that covers both the foundation and the town locker. It's been signed by the Midwest Asphalt company that's going to do the project. They have a really good reference from the Attica parks. They constructed their pickleball courts last spring. And the guy that represents them, that's like a really good recommendation, so it's easy to work with. And followed through on the project all the way from the beginning to the end, so we were kind of impressed with that. But anyway, looked it over. The committee's looked it over and the foundation has looked it over. So what we need now is a signature from the town that that's okay to spend our money to provide a park, pickleball court for the town. Looking now, the project without lighting is we're ending up with somewhere around $200,000, including our engineering fees, and we still would like to work on getting grants for. We haven't been very successful yet, except for foundation coming up with a WIN grant to help us out, so we're still applying for grants and trying to raise funds for it, but we need $44,000 yet to complete what we've already agreed to, but we feel pretty confident we're okay with doing it, so.
That doesn't count the lights though.
No, that's not capital.
They could bid was 159,000 and they've almost got up to 142 or 143. It's very close. We're, very close. But the foundation wants to make sure that it is still, it'd be a gift, but it's still your asset. So I want to make sure that if there's any kind of questions or concerns,
Right.
make sure.
And typically we would have Ingrid here for this meeting. She's not here. Are you guys good on timeline if we table this, let her look at it to ensure there's everything is okay with that, and then we could, as long as she gets it back to us in time, on next Monday, our special meeting, the 23rd, we could approve it then. Would you guys be okay with that?
You know, we need to move ahead as quick as we can because they're getting their schedules together on what's.
Yeah.
happening. We had March 11th was our drop date with them.
Right. Okay.
To
I
give
mean,
them an answer.
I don't know why she would have any issues with it. It looks good to me, but just to do our due diligence, make sure she's okay with it.
Yeah.
We'll just shoot for her to
We'll wrestle that.
Monday, the 23rd.
And I think you guys are doing a trivia night here coming up, right? April 11th at the Lions Club. So get your team together.
For $10, we'll put you on a table.
Perfect.
Oh, we got our week, oh, yeah. I got my- I'm bringing in brainiacs from all over the country.
We went for a practice run one recently, and Troy and I decided we were no help.
It was hard.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Moving on to Commonwealth.
Thank you very much, Nate. Before I get going, if anybody would like a copy of this memorandum, that's a summary of what I'll be going over today, please feel free to let me know. I can provide it to you at any time or after the meeting. I'll go ahead and begin with some general construction updates for the Division B Water Utility Improvement Project. The water main has been installed, disinfected, and tested along State Road 352. This marks the last stretch of water main to be installed as part of the project. The remaining mainline work of the project involves doing some water main abandonment of some pre-existing main that will likely happen or commence following the service line portion of the project. As far as the service line component of the project, verification and potholing efforts are still ongoing. The focus shifted to the northern part of town starting in 2026. Atlas looks to commence the actual replacement of the lead and galvanized service lines following the completion of the verification efforts. The meter replacement coordination efforts are underway. They have been underway, I suppose, with Boyce, the town, Atlas, and Commonwealth. Atlas has begun verifying all the existing meters, their sizes, numbers, locations, etc. They've been doing setter installation, which is the component that holds the meter inside of the meter pit as they've been doing the verification in 2026. Finally, with warmer weather hopefully around the corner, there will be more permanent restoration occurring. The contractor Atlas Excavating will be doing compaction and permanent placement of a final surface, including that. For a lot of the area of the project has not seen that yet due to colder weather over the winter. So that will be happening this spring. Are there any questions about any of the construction? Okay. I'll transition into our change order number 3 that we're presenting today. This change order involves a total contract price increase by approximately $31,000. It's inclusive of these items. The State Road 350, the State Road 352 crossing all the way on the easternmost side is being upsized from a 6-inch pipe to an 8-inch pipe. This is to provide for a future sprinkler system for the Bottle Works development, and it also provides National Fire Protection Agency-based hydraulic calculations for them to meet their fire flow ratings that they need to meet. This time and materials will consist of an upsized water main from 6 inches to 8 inches, upsized casing spacers, an 8-inch gate valve and plug, then all additional labor, material, and equipment to install that crossing. That reflects the contract price increase of $30,763.81. The next component of the change order involves the reallocation of funds for a restock fee. With the verification efforts that have been occurring throughout the project, there have been less service lines within the project that have been identified as lead or galvanized pipes, which is a good thing. But as a result of that, the contractor has opted to return some of the parts that they anticipated using at the time of bid. Since this is an eligible lead service line expense, the lead service line funds are being reallocated from from the, I believe, utility side line item to account for this restock fee. So there will be about $27,000 reallocated. However, this will not result in a net contract increase. Finally, the third component of the change order involves reallocating funds for verification efforts in the month of February. Atlas was directed to continue pothole verification with 62 properties that either had signed right of entries or had meter pits accessible within the right of way. There are three different tracking components that we've been using for these. They're broken down into phase 3A, 3B, and 3C. A total of $194,000 will be reallocated from the interior access allowance under the lead service line funding pool and the water service utility side pay item. This will also have a $0 net contract price increase. That brings me to the end of change order number 3. Are there any questions with that change order?
The $27,000 restocking fee is on us, not Atlas. Essentially, right? Is that what that says?
It's a
The Atlas ordered too much of something, and then we have to spend our grant money to restock it. I'm not coming at you. I just want to get that right.
Answer it, and then I might have Riley assist me with it. But it's my understanding that at the time of bid, with the resources we had available, the contractor ordered the number of components without fully verifying it. But now that we've gone through it, I believe the contractor is eligible for a restock. And it's not the entire. It's not the entire cost, it's only a portion of it, but it is still a large portion.
So I can clarify, the initial inventory that was generated, it was based off of that initial inventory. Based on just current brass lead times, we were getting pretty extensive lead times. If they didn't order them soon, or they waited to order them, they wouldn't get them until way after projects were done, and they'd be waiting for them to get them. We've had lead times as long as 30 weeks just for brass.
Right.
For utilities, it might be a shorter period, but since we're kind of beholden to Build American, Buy American, those lead times can get really high. I've had some components take 60 weeks just to accomplish. So time is unfortunately very much of the essence for some of these projects. Brass is in a particularly bad spot in the industry. It's just hard to get service line components kind of across the board. More so when we kind of have to follow Build American, Buy American requirements.
Sure.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
This seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. The unfortunate part is the restocking fees are premium because brass is also not a premium.
Right. Yeah.
And then everybody's stocking up on it, and there's less inventory
Right.
that's sitting there for people to get
Right.
in a timely.
It's, I would like to say, it's not all of the brass, so Jordan specifically, if you need additional brass, if you have in stock, we've accounted for that with this change. So once we get to project completion, if you guys need additional brass, we've instructed Atlas to keep that space to supply the brass.
Yep.
So if you have future repairs, you have to propose to yourself.
Mm.
And you're not working.
Sure. Thank you.
There's no further questions on change order number 3. I'll briefly go through the 3 disbursements that are being presented today. The first disbursement is disbursement number 27, which corresponds to the 8th pay application for the month of January. This is the SRF component. It's specific. It's a relatively small amount. There was not a lot of SRF related work that occurred in the month of January. The 28th disbursement is a Commonwealth invoice, also for services rendered through the month of January. Then disbursement number 29 corresponds to the SRF work in the most recent February pay applications. This was primarily, primarily SRF LSLR funds for the verification efforts that occurred in the month of February, along with some SRF traditional work through the meter site. Are there any questions on the pre-disbursement documents?
Tina, do you have any?
I had a question just based off of conversation that we'd had Riley on the contaminated soil. And so I didn't ask this question Thursday because this change order and the 29 disbursement wasn't presented until after the meeting. But I know we had discussed with that contaminated soil, if that wasn't being removed, the town has already paid for that. So there could be a reallocation of funds,
Yes.
and that was to be on 29, but
So what we can do on this application is we can talk about the specific amount, whatever that amount you would like to deduct from the contract application, we can write in that amount and deduct it. I have my laptop with me, we can go at the exact amount, and we can approve the application minus whatever the actual billing amount would be for the 10 days. So the town's more than allowed to do that. So we can approve it for less than the actual full amount of that. That's fine.
and is that the final decision that it doesn't need to be moved from the town?
Doesn't need to be.
The
No,
contaminated
it is going to be moved from the town if it has not already been removed.
Well, the question is, we have this dirt down there, and somebody used it. Because it's not marked. Nobody, when you guys put it down there, nobody marked it.
Yes.
That's a problem.
We've been trying to track down who's used it. That's.
But we probably need to mark it. You know, so people don't use it.
Yes. I've been trying to talk about.
I didn't even know it was down there. I thought you guys had already moved it because we paid for it. I thought we already moved it.
Yes. Alan Brown has done it as well, and it seems like that hasn't been the case. I've instructed them to remove it. Part of the issue is that they haven't been able to haul things out there, they don't at least mark it. That's what's the ultimate. I've instructed them.
Well, that's been there for how long?
For a while, and the
Long time. No,
the last time I asked about it was when it was brought in a change order, and Rob had said, no, this isn't paying for it, it's giving you guys, giving the permission to put it into, to be able to pay for it, but then next thing, it's showing 100% paid out, yeah.
So there are the two components of it. There's S&D, which was overfull for drilling over there to gather groundwater and soil samples, and then there's Atlas component. S&D has already performed their work, that should include in our invoices, but Atlas was really something. But kind of like I said, if it's not been done, and I'll happily write down and look at it right now, that is done.
Is it still there, Jordan?
Yeah.
We'll mark it on the current application and by whatever that amount is. That's perfectly fine to go.
Anything else on the disbursement? I briefly mentioned some water sampling that we've done.
If you want to go, I think Tina's still looking over her end, but if
Okay.
you want to go back and then we can circle back. Yeah.
Very briefly, it's not a document, we're just gonna talk over it in front of everybody. There has been SRF water sampling ongoing since last October. PFAS recently became regulated in April of 2024. So there have been 10 sampling events that have been completed since last October with 9 lab results. Jordan has assisted me at the plant with the collection of the bottle samples at 4 different sample points, the finished water, intermediate, and then the 2 raw water wells. There have been 0 PFAS detections at this point in time. There have also been 0 primary maximum contaminant levels detected at this point in time. We've assembled a technical memo that summarizes the first 2 months of the sample collection up to date that we'll be coordinating with the council on presenting in the near future. I'll let Riley take it from here.
So some general background is the question of why we're even doing testing in the first place. So following the EPA's kind of guidelines and 50 limits on PFAS, I then went around and started testing every utility and we volunteered to get the water tested. Based on those results, if you had any sort of protection or PFAS, you were essentially placed on a list and were notified that, hey, you got PFAS protection. SRF and IFA, from that, developed actually a grant. It's 100% grant at no cost to the town. To do additional testing, not to quantify necessarily, but to make sure if you had PFAS that you knew how much and then we could move on to the next step. So this is what that grant was used for. It's a no cost to the town. We performed essentially 6 months of testing, still performing that testing to verify if the town actually had PFAS, how much, if we didn't have PFAS, wonderful. Things as usual, we don't know what we're doing. So Simeon's been performing that testing with Jordan, and so kind of what he had said, there has been no PFAS in the finished water, there's not any raw water out. So start to finish, we're not seeing any PFAS anywhere. We do the quality control samples and everything, labs coming back clean, there's no issues across the board, which is great to do. But for the opposite case, we do still get into pilot testing and all that. So great opposite actually has a clean bill of health in that regard. That being said, we still got to follow kind of current guidelines. So when biannual testing for PFAS is still a thing, but you can kind of go into that knowing that you guys are clean. From good testing and starting standpoint, you're not starting with PFAS, you're starting with nothing. Outside of that, we do have a few next steps that SRF still requires from us. We have to assemble what's called a preliminary alternative analysis potential report. With that report, we're just going to essentially summarize town and maybe current guidelines, and it doesn't need to do anything. This is the end of our testing. No further action to be taken. Which, in the grand scheme of things, is the best thing to happen. 100% grant cost to the town. So the town doesn't spend any more money and the town doesn't do anything else. And it's just business as usual. That being said, any questions for me about PFAS results? Pretty much other kinds of results. So next part that we have to discuss, and I'll put this to what we kind of start discussing is the upcoming, or not necessarily upcoming, but the Division A water treatment plant project and what we have previously discussed.
Probably that you've all had time to review the memo from that discussed the two-part project water distribution system, which we're currently involved in for the water treatment to secure the world development for you 2 years ago. World Development is reaching out to the town and to us saying, are you going to spend that money? Are you going to move ahead with the water treatment plant? You do not need to bring an answer now. There's no decision that needs to be made tonight in terms of what we want to do for World Development loan. We've got a little bit of time. That, having said that, we would like to know, like by the end of summer, if indeed you want to move forward with taking advantage of that World Development loan. In the meantime, we would like to explore the possibility of, because it's in the memo, of applying for another round of state revolving money, which is what the grant loan that you got for the water distribution system. In essence, we would go back to state revolving fund. would say, can you give us some more background to proceed with the water treatment plant project? It does not commit the town in any way to move forward with the water treatment plant project. It just is getting our foot in the door, getting in line, and we have some money. And there, if it will make, you don't have to make any commitment at all. You can always back out at this point in time. I think once you get deeper into it, once they're funding off, but that'll be sometime this summer. So I think the conversation needs to continue soon in terms of whether or not you're ready now to move forward with the water treatment plant project. Again, I say now, maybe it'll be funding offer comes in summer of 2026. You'll have to move it until 2027. So we can do the SRF funding application for you. I've got a copy of what it looks like if you want to see it. It's really a straightforward application if you want to see it. The application just requires you to have a hearing. Legal notice, I sent this to Tina earlier. You have to put in a legal notice 10 days before the public hearing. You have to have a signatory resolution signed, a PR acceptance letter signed, resolution signed, excuse me. That just is a brief information in terms of what we would need to do. Again, it will require minimal work from you. I just want you to have to see that you'll see that the draft, the legal notice, the draft of the signatory resolution that we have to sign, the draft of the PR acceptance signed, and then the final documents.
My understanding is, obviously, this is SRF loan program. You got to put it in as a loan request, so they come back with potential grant money.
They don't use the word grant, they use forgivable loan,
That's right.
which is what you've got. You've got forgivable loan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but that is the language that we need to use. This is the language that we're mandated to use. Because again, they can't guarantee any grant, but it's forgivable loan. So you get a traditional loan or you get a forgivable loan, which we've secured for you. The only other thing I wanted to add is we were able to secure grant and loan funding for the water distribution system because the median household income of the town of Oxford is under a threshold in which they're giving out grant money. So I don't want to get too deep into this, but the bipartisan infrastructure law that was passed 4 years ago provided for 5 years worth of extra funding, extra infrastructure funding. This is the last year of that 5-year program. That's not to say that there won't be grant funding in the future, but it just is this extra big pot of money, which came out 4 years ago, which used like $55 billion in infrastructure spending. So we would ask that you make a decision tonight if you want us to move forward with the SRF application or not. And then if you do, if you can set a public hearing, again, you got to have a legal notice in 10 days before. And I think the Lafayette newspaper requires 2 business days.
These have been reviewed.
They've agreed to the bid review, so it has to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's only published on Wednesdays, so and we have to have it in Friday before the Wednesday.
But it also, I think timing wise, it may not work for us to have this public hearing before April 1st. SRF allows you to have a public hearing after that April 1st deadline.
I have a question. Now, if we go over this SRF loan, forgivable loan, we can't go for Okra funding?
Okra funding is now, they only take 2 rounds of applications. This is the first round. It would not be, the application for Okra would not even be due until December of 2026. So you could, but it would delay the offer from SRF. So SRF won't give you an offer if you're also applying for Okra. They'll score you but not rank you. They will not give you an offer until they secure the Okra funding in December. And so that messes with the timeline in terms of rural development funding. If we get an offer from SRF this summer that we can let go of the rural development funding, that's I think the ideal. If we do not go in, if we go in for Okra and SRF, we won't get an answer on the funding from Okra until December 2026.
And then we lose SRF opportunity.
This year. Yeah, we lose the SRF opportunity this
Now,
year.
is Okra correct me if I'm wrong, but Okra is the one that if you are granted whatever the funding is and you don't take it, there's a penalty.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas SRF does not have that penalty.
Correct.
And it gets more complicated. SRF, let's say you get the grant offer from SRF and then you get the grant offer from Okra. SRF will reduce the amount of grant they will give you by the amount of grant that Okra offers. So you're not going to gain any more grant money by going after Okra funds if you get a good grant loan offer from SRF.
I guess at the end of the day, is there any sort of penalties with the SRF application if they present us with an amount that we say we're not doing?
No.
That's okay.
No.
Just want to make sure.
I mean, as you get closer to the funding offer, you may have to re-engage a rate consultant,
Sure.
as I think Rob told you about.
Yes, and then that's where the potential for us owing money comes from is if, what's the name of the company that did our last one? Who was it? Baker Tilly. So if they do that, it's like a $20,000 study. If we don't take SRF, we would be on the hook for that $20,000 rate study.
I don't know if it's $20,000.
Just for instance.
Just briefly. And
There's other companies besides Baker and Tilly that can
Sure.
do.
so we're not putting a price tag of $20,000.
Right. And yeah,
But whoever were to do it, then that would be.
right. But that would be after an offer was presented to us.
I think it will, it
works together, doesn't it?
yeah, it kind of works together.
Only
Kind of
my
works
own
together.
can do that, it's good.
Well, and depends on what the funding offer is, will impact the rate study, obviously. If you want us to go ahead and put in this application by April 1st, we'd be happy to do it. And then if you decide at your next council meeting in April or May, we don't want to move forward with this, that's fine. But you put a halt to it at any point in time, as long as you put a halt to it, early enough before they have a funding offer discussion with you.
Our biggest thing is we've talked about this before, and it's the fact that the rate study that was conducted prior to our current project, right, and the scheduling of that it's been felt by the residents, and that's our biggest worry, right, is us going through with project, phase 2 of this project, and then what's that rate study going to look like?
Absolutely.
And our rates go up and up and up, and the residents they're already not happy.
That leads to another discussion that you don't have to have tonight.
Yeah.
Is how quickly, or if you want to move forward with the water treatment project.
Yeah.
So there's a need for you to do work on your water treatment plant. That's another discussion that you'll have to have in terms of the timing of that. Can you stall that? Can you forestall that?
Yeah.
We can come back and review the study with you. So we did a study that included the distribution system and the water treatment plant. And the engineers who work for rural development, the engineers who work for SRF said this is a project that's needed, which is why we got the funding to begin with. And again, it's not a decision you have to make tonight. I would encourage you to have that conversation relatively soon, because you need to make a decision in terms of how quickly you would want to move forward with the work on the water treatment plant project.
This is just I did print this out from SRF's, just showing the median household income, and I do believe we fall below that for Oxford.
This is for the median
Yes,
household
sir.
income.
Mhm.
It's like 58,000,
Yeah.
and your median household income is much lower.
Everything that I saw that's been published
So
is below that.
So you would qualify for that. And there's no guarantee. You can't guarantee you get funding. You can't guarantee that you'll get grant funding. Town of Oxford has a track record to be able to secure that grant funds from national based on the need, based on the median household income. But we don't want to mislead you in any way. So we can guarantee that we'll get the funding.
Have you guys seen any town or any entity where that forgivable loan has turned into needing to be paid back?
No, once they make a commitment to a forgivable loan, no. Have you? Anybody said anything?
No, I wanted to
wanted-
know because I know that that portion is not included in the rate study. So if they were to come back and say,
No, that wouldn't be the issue. You know, if you can get, so I don't want to prolong this conversation beyond what's needed or necessary because I know you've got other business to attend to. This big pot of funding that came through 4 years ago, which is a 5-year pipeline, $55 billion through the federal bipartisan infrastructure law. Half of it must be spent on the middle club. That's mandated by the federal law that half of that 55 billion had to be spent on communities like yours. So we've never seen a case where they change from here we forgiveness loan to pay
You
more
can't
back.
take money.
You know? Yeah. That's why, again, they scrutinize these projects closely, make sure that they won't, that it's, you know, it's where the money's going.
Alright. Did you have any other questions over the change orders? Okay.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Will you make a decision tonight about whether you want to move forward with the extract application? And if you do, can we set a public hearing? And again, I don't, you can say no.
Yeah.
I just wanted to,
So that's gotta be in by the,
April 1st is the deadline. And it's a once a year application.
Okay.
Unlike rural development.
Sure.
You must have an application. by
If we-
April 1st.
if we, like we were just talking, would it be the end of the world if we tabled it till Monday, made the decision? That way we could kind of have a conversation about it all together.
Yeah.
And then make a decision on Monday to whether or not to have you guys submit it.
I think that would be fine.
Okay.
That, you'll see in the application, it's pretty straightforward.
Right.
You know, it just requires simple information on ER. I would need to get a little more information from Tina, like what your average residential customer paid for what. So it could be done. You can get that done.
You go with that? All right. You guys have anything else? Thank you very much for coming and talking on everything. And all right. Any public comment? The trash bash.
What is that?
So it's essentially they come together. My understanding is come together and go around town picking up trash. Is that correct?
For the cleanup days?
Yeah.
And it works and all that.
Basically, yeah.
It's not individual homeowners, but like,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
I see it back to back there.
I have a
That's like the
question
man back
Yeah.
there.
about the contaminated soil. What kind of contamination, where was it and where is it now?
It was from the. You can speak on it, but it was over here by the Pizza King where the old gas station used to be. So yeah, no, for sure.
So, South Howard Street, right by the Pizza King, kind of heading south, we had an open excavation. The contractors opened up a hole and it's got fuels now. And they revealed it, and immediately closed it back up, and when any of that soil was taken out and removed, they said, well, we can't put that soil back in the ground. And what they did is they went through and got it tested. Eventually for defects and kind of like the gas and oil compound, it was clean at the very least, so it's not hazardous, at least the soil that's out of the ground, but they didn't start digging further at a worry of getting deeper into the contamination. They did some additional testing and the soil there is contaminated. And we're working with IDA to kind of figure out what the next steps of that process will be.
Okay, and it was put somewhere and somebody used it in town?
Yes, we're trying to figure out where it is so we can notify them to take it out.
I think it was taken out, wasn't
Was it taken out?
No.
It was taken.
Well, not the part, when you're talking about.
it? No, the parts that were used.
And so it has been,
As far as the stockpile that was done initially,
that's still,
it's still out.
Okay.
Where is that?
So where our utilities offices, it would be on the west side where the recycle bins.
so right now it's being kept on plastic and sequestered away, and it's set to be hauled off to a separate facility. So it's not going to be put back anywhere local to Oxford or replacing an actual wastewater facility. Either incinerated or properly treated. Cool. Everybody? Everybody? Hey, any other questions? Thank you.
Anything else? I knew you had something.
I just wondered, how many permits were issued for salvage yard, auto salvage yards here in this town?
Not sure. I don't have that in my back pocket.
I noticed there's a lot of vehicles sitting around with expired plates and no plates. 2 doors down on the west side of the street, across from Steve Dwinger's house. That's kind of tight getting through there anyway. Steve's got a lot of vehicles, but he lives on the east side of the street. The big house on the west side of the street, there's 2 vehicles sitting there, been there for at least a month on the street. One of them with flat tire with no license plate. And another one backed up. I don't know if it's got plates or not, I need help. But it hasn't been moved for 2 or 3 months. Straight west on McConnell Street, down on the west end of McConnell Street, there's some problems there with license plates and expired plates. We really don't need any more salvage yards in this town. It seems like that's what the first thing people do when they move into town is they think they want to open up a salvage yard and buy used cars and make lots of money off of them.
Well, this sounds like a field training opportunity for our new deputy town marshal and town marshal.
I didn't want to.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. No, absolutely not. Nope.
But only 2 doors off the town square, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. No.
And it needs some attention.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What about Howard Street?
Well, on south on Howard Street too, there's one sitting down there with no plate on. And the usual spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think he was allowed to park over the sidewalk and leave them parked across the sidewalk.
Yeah.
There are some spots here in town where the vehicles are sitting parked across the sidewalk. Even though there may not be a sidewalk there visible, there was one there 40 years ago that was visible. It has been screwed over with grass.
Sure.
But if you dig down, dig through the dirt a little bit, you can find the sidewalk.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the specifics on that, but like I said, we'll send Aaron and Preston down and we'll have them take a look and see what they can write up.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Did want to touch on, I didn't mention about the meter sizes. I have that in the old business.
Yeah.
If there was the larger ones, if you guys want to go ahead with those letters and getting those out for the anything that was larger than the residential. So that's where that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to old business, the phase 2 project and funding options, like Maureen spoke about. I think we're going to table it, have a conversation Monday. We'll make a decision on that. Meter sizes, that's just regarding sending the letters to the pre-existing, property owners that have the larger than normal meters, giving them the opportunity to, reduce that if they so choose to send us the request for that. So if you guys are on board with that, can I get a motion
I'll make a
on?
motion.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so everybody have a chance to look at the pay arrangements. Can I get a motion on those?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? The pickleball construction agreement, we're gonna have Ingrid take a look at that, and then Monday as well, we'll give you a decision on that. Just wanna make sure that she's,
If you give me a couple more sheets to send things that contract relates to.
yeah, absolutely.
He's got it.
Okay,
You've got this, you
Yes,
know?
yeah.
Okay.
They just didn't-
Contract first of this.
perfect,
All right, fourth, I think we have that also.
Okay,
I'll
perfect.
double check, but I think and let you know.
that was in there. Okay.
What time are you meeting, next Monday?
It is 6:30, I believe. What did you say?
Yeah, I think it is.
I have it at 6:30. That's what I thought we talked
It
about in
probably
our
is 6:30.
Zoom meeting.
Yeah,
6:30?
I can get with you and make sure, yeah.
All right. SRF disbursement number 27 and pay app number 8. Those were in our packets.
Mhm.
Can I get a motion on those?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You need to wait on any of these? You said you had questions.
I just don't know if Riley was gonna set up to reduce 29.
Yes.
That's what you,
Hey, Riley. That,
Yeah, so it will be reduced to 384,000. So the payment to the contractor will be this 28,000, 20,000, 2027 to 208,000. So that's $11,426.
all right. The SRF disbursement number 28. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Letter E, the SRF disbursement number 29 and pay app number 9 with the changes that were just outlined, making it the final of 308,821. Is that correct? Yep. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion for 308, 21.
I will second that.
All in favor? Water project change order number 3. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? The Adobe subscription, annual subscription for $571.58.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
The approval of the emergency repairs out of the water plant, from BMK.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And, motion, or can I get a motion on the Haley's invoice, contingent on us getting the key, cost discrepancies sorted out?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? And the $4.58 Deno's invoice, can we get a motion to pay that?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the late mosquito master invoice from the fire department, $40. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? The special session date and time for Tim Clark and Ken Smith, talking with Tina, at least one of the two is available Thursday. Would anyone else be
During
available?
the day.
I'm not sure what time. Thursday would have to be after.
Yeah.
It'd be 6:30 at least for me.
Yeah, I can,
Yeah, at least 6:30 for me.
yeah, I'll be okay.
So we got three.
Yeah, at least 3 of us
Yeah,
What day, what's the date?
this Thursday at 6:30.
18th,
18th, 19th,
19th.
6:30.
I guess just let us know if they're both able to or not. Can I get a motion for the fire department subscription to EV Rescue at $19.95 for the year for both iPads?
I'll make that motion.
I'll say it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The fire department rack and UPS, do we want to, obviously you've looked at both Ironclad and then the internal scope of work from the volunteer, from the fire department themselves. Is there, can I get a motion on whichever you would approve?
I guess I don't understand what they're doing with it. What is it?
So they're moving it up on the wall in the office. Apparently it's a mess, and the UPS is going bad as it is. The batteries are bad in it. They've replaced them a couple years ago. Ironclad has quite a bit of labor in there for no real reason that we can understand, because they're not coming in and putting it in anyway. So the other quote scope of work that you have there essentially is us purchasing the same rack and UPS and items from Opus, as well as our Amazon account, which are ultimately cheaper, plus the free labor from the fire department staff on installing it.
Who's gonna do it anyway?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll go with the office.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the fire department iPad mounts and cases quote, which is down there as well. It's to mount both iPads in the 2 trucks that they want to frequent or have the iPads in permanently.
And that'll have all their EV stuff on there and.
Ultimately, yes. That's at $689.90.
I'll make that motion.
Also,
All in favor?
Aye.
And last but not least, the Lions Club Trash Bash collection. Can we get a motion on allowing that?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any around the table concerns, comments? Real quick, I forgot to tell you the other day. Can someone grab the backhoe and just use the clamp? There's a pine tree that's fallen out at the fire department that's kind of back off the south side there. And just have someone grab that. That was mentioned. Yeah, it's the southwest corner of the building. And then if it wouldn't be a bad idea to toss on your list of things to do, to maybe pick up, I know the salt spreader's still in the white truck, but when that gets out, maybe picking all that debris out there at the water plant or at the well houses from that. Perfect.
When we do the leaves, always in.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you, everyone, for coming.